Hello guys, this is YouTube channel Adam Fusman, and right now I'm in beautiful city Newport Beach, and close to me Victor Rancour. Thank you for having me.
No, I'm excited to be on.
And thank you for inviting me to your event called
Profit is Sanity.
Profit is Sanity. Why is profit so important these days?
You know, profit's important every day. It's not just these days. I think, a lot of contractors, they work really hard and they look at revenue and they focus on that, and then they have nothing left over. So, that's the only way that's going to give you any sanity and give you your life back is profit.
Is it all the time should be like that? Or because I've heard today very nice thing, like first 2-3 years, every contractor have to work on your credibility. I'm like, it's kind of nice thing. It's kind of base platform everybody have to chase off. And after that, you have to get a credit or loans from the bank, buy trucks, get a better office maybe.
Yeah, in the beginning, you have to focus on profit. So, your best friend's a banker, right? If you don't got a good relationship with your bank, or they think you're volatile, your business isn't bringing money in, they're not going to want to give you money. And, I tell people, I'm like, banks have to give money out. That's how the system works. They have an X amount, they have to loan out to somebody. They want to make sure it's a business that they feel comfortable. They know they're going to get their money back, and they're willing to do that. Now, if you go start your business and you're only focused on revenue, you're not focused on profit, they see that as volatile, especially in the beginning. So, you got to grow your business, stay lean, stay smart, do the right decisions, price yourself right. And if you can do that the first year or 2 years, and you start showing that you show them that you're growing, you're staying profitable. Now they said, let's go put some gas on the fire. Now the bank said, okay, I'll invest in you. You got your system down, you're stable, you got your stuff done. Because at the end of the day, we can't grow. You can't grow without vendor lines of credit. You can't grow without credit cards. You can't grow without the banks having a line of credit. So many people try to run off their own cash. So when I go into a business, we say, okay, let's go get $1 million line of credit. So if anything does happen, well, we already know we're going to be profitable. So now we can actually feel comfortable giving ourselves and paying ourselves the money, because we have the line of credit if anything does go wrong. But you want to be, that money that's coming in, the profit should be yours. That's how I look at it.
But what kind of profit should be? What the level should be expected every home services business owner in the beginning?
In the beginning, to be quite frank, obviously there's going to be startup expenses. So expect at least 100,000 plus in startup expenses. Vehicles, truck wraps, all those things. You're going to have to spend it. Obviously, the best way to do it is to get a loan. Obviously, you should already have good personal credit before you go into business. Don't go into business unless you already have good personal credit and you're able to back that up and you feel good about it. You can PG it. But in reality, these businesses should make money. It's a high ticket, high margin business. So, right away, I look at every business that we run. We're aiming for a 30% net so that we can hit a 20, right? So you always got to, a lot of guys, when they start out, they try to price themselves with the company they're at. Like, if you want to grow, you have to price yourself to be the company you want to be. If you want to be a $5 million business, price as if you have an overhead of a $5 million business. Now all of a sudden you have the cash to get there. So many guys, they start out, I want to be the cheapest guy. I want to help people, and I'm Superman. Those guys are ripping each other off, ripping people off. Yeah, they feel like they're ripping people off. You have to price yourself for the company you want to be, not the company you are.
Not everyone smart as you in this industry, and everyone who wants to just try out this industry, they get into these grounds. Like I did 8.5 years ago, and I'm stuck with this industry.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to came to the United States and work for like IT tech company as a Google or maybe it's Cisco, and then I stick with this industry and I'm still in it. And people saying me like I'm doing very well, and I'm like, how? I'm not still like a Google or whatsoever. And I won't be able to do the same because my profits are not as 5,000 or 7,000% as a Google or Facebook doing, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of very limited on maybe 30%, 40% of the profit, even like a EBITDA. But in 8.5 years, my company, we just was growing and growing, and our profit was all the time low because we tried to eliminate a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
This may be kind of another type of strategy, or we just had to all the time show a lot of EBITDA and pay a lot of taxes?
No, I mean, obviously, you have to understand what position or where you are in the business. So like for me, I'm building a business that I want to sell. So I want to keep the profit in the business, pay my taxes, because that's going to be more valuable. In the beginning, right, the first couple of years, you don't plan on selling your business for say 5 years.
Yeah.
The first couple of years, use your write-offs, use all that stuff. Like, a lot of people are like, I'm going to go buy a used truck for 15 grand. Well, okay, that's great. I would rather go buy a van that's brand new that I can double depreciate for the first couple of years, and I can write off that. So all the profit I get, I'm not getting taxed on it. So, you can write off a $70,000 van twice. You can write off $140,000 of taxable income. That's a smarter route to go, but you have to have the credit to do that. But in the end of the day, like, people think I feel like they charge what they feel they can charge, but you can always charge more. Like I try to tell people, I want to be the most expensive. From day one, I wasn't charging 8 grand for a system. I was charging 15 grand when I first started, because I knew I had to charge that to be able to hire people. So I think the people that aren't seeing the profits in this industry are just, they're undercutting themselves, or they're not confident that they can charge what they can charge. I would rather have 10 jobs at 20 grand than 50 jobs at 10 grand. You know, it's like, it's just the reality. You'll never win the volume game.
But how to inject this mindset to the employees easily? Because they all the time gonna think everybody chasing the price. The cheaper price as possible, the better system they will get. And it's even like not working very nice with A+ players in the team.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to sell them on what goes behind the price. So like for me, like, if you're coming in and you got your employees don't have great benefits, they don't have training, they don't have all this stuff, they're not going to see the value. But if you can get them to see the value and also align their pay plan with what you're doing, right? So if you're going to raise your prices, you got to raise your value. So you have to the company has to feel better. You got to invest in your employees. You got to train them. We train. And I think a lot of problems that home service contractors have is they run their business off of estimates. They only get their replacements from estimates. Well, when you're in an estimate game and you're in an estimate business, you're battling all these other cheap assholes, right? You're battling the cheap guys. We built our business. 90% of it comes from tune-ups to replacement.
Yeah.
So almost all of our business, they never see a competitor. We build a process where they never price shop us. We did such a badass job answering the phone. When we went out there, we ran a process that was great. We had a whole sales presentation, and we ended up closing those deals at a higher margin than if you're on an estimate. If you're on an estimate, you're battling every cheap guy in town. So when contractors start out, they're trying to get the cheapest lead. The cheapest lead is the most expensive. Like if I was starting a business today, I would start literally, only thing I would do is Google Business My Profile, try to get as many reviews as I can. I would turn on LSA, and I would go dump as much, get a good website and dump as much money as I can in direct mail. That is where you get the best, absolute best customers. We did over $7 million in the last 12 months just from direct mail at a 65% margin. Rather than you go out with all these estimates, you're at 35-40% margin and you can't make money.
With Guy?
With Guy, yeah.
Yeah, we're with him like for 3-4 years already.
Yeah.
He's a very nice guy. So let's start from the beginning. Did you born in the United States?
Born in the U.S., yeah. Born actually right here in Southern California where we're sitting.
And how did you become as a home service business owner?
It was by chance. I answered a Craigslist ad in 2015 to become a HVAC technician. At that point, I was a day laborer contractor.
How old you were at that time?
25 years old. I had a 5-month-old baby. We were living in a little room in a house, like an apartment. We had a shitty.
So right now you're 35?
I'm 35. No, I was 20. I guess I was 26. So I'm about to be 37 next month. So
okay.
Forgetting how old I am. 36 right now. So we were living in a shitty room in a house. I was driving a shitty car, like really 92 Honda Accord. And I answered this Craigslist ad, and they said they're going to train me to be an HVAC tech. I didn't know who the company was. I didn't know what HVAC stood for. I just know I needed a job. They said you can make at least 60 grand a year. You get a work vehicle benefits. I'm like, that sounds great. Went there and went through the interview, and they had a big interview process. A company called Service Champions, which is down here. They were down here in Southern California. There's a Northern California one too. But I worked for Leland, who actually showed up today at the event, which was pretty cool. One of my mentors. But yeah, I answered the Craigslist ad, and they showed me the pay plan, and I was like, dude, I'm going to get rich, because I'm like, this is easy. I can sell fan motors and hard start kits and freaking air scrubbers, and I get $200 to sell that, and I'll fucking sell that all fucking day. And so I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the game, the competition, the sales aspect, and training.
But who you was before?
Was I
Before this Craigslist ad?
I was doing construction, doing general. I was doing concrete work, masonry work. I was like the day laborer, pretty much, making $100 some a day, $150 a day, cash. Didn't know if I was gonna have work the next day, type of deal.
But you raised here somewhere in Southern California?
Right here in Southern California.
And you finished like elementary school, middle school, high school here?
Yeah, high school. I grew up here my whole life. Lived in Ohio for a year. So before that, before I moved to Ohio for a year. I was doing oil changes for $6 an hour there, and then I was there for a year and
Okay.
$6.75 an hour. Then I moved back to California. I was like, get me the hell out of Cleveland. At that point, I was 22, 23 years old, partying all the time. I had no direction, no goals. So I mean, like I said, I just got lucky. I fell into the trades. And that's why, I tried to get back to the trades a lot because it changed my entire life.
But you started to making like a concrete, you said?
I was doing concrete, masonry work, like all the shitty jobs that you don't want to do.
You got in Service Champions and you started to think, oh, it's going to be changing your life because it's easy to sell.
Yeah, I fell in love with the sales aspect, and it's like they trained me how to do HVAC, so I was already, you made pretty decent money. I got paid $25 to go run a tune-up, so you run 3 a day. You're making $75. Plus you sell club memberships, another $15. So that's easy, $100 a day. And that's how I was doing the math on that. And you sell any kind of parts. Like my goal from day one was like, how do I make $300 a day? I had to sell enough for parts and shit to make $300 a day, and I never made less than that.
And that was these days 26 years old, Victor.
Yeah, it was 2015 in March. And then, I worked my way up. I ended up becoming, back then it was Airtime 500, and I think now it's like the Success Group or something like that is what it's called, but I ended up being #1 in the country as a tech.
Yeah.
So I learned how to turn over leads and how to flip them, and I really was like, I would always watch the sales guys. And the sales guys, we had a sales guy there driving a Ferrari in 2015 that was selling HVAC, right? And I'm like, what the fuck does this guy do? He was making over $500,000 a year selling HVAC. And, I was like, man, I want to do what the hell that guy is. So I started doing ride-alongs with them, training, trying to understand the sales side of it. And it was very hard at Service Champions to become from tech to sales. Like they made you hit, like be very, very, you had to be the best of the best to be a sales guy there. Like the KPIs and the stuff they wanted out of you is pretty hard. But I grinded my way through it, and within a year and a half, I became the #1 sales guy in the country. So I was, I started making $500,000
in Service Champions. So, and then what happened? Why did you quit?
I did quit. So it was I went to, this guy invited me. He's like, hey, this guy wants you to come work for him. I'm like, well, set up a breakfast. So I go to breakfast with them, and he's like, hey, come check out my shop. I go check out his shop. And at this point, I thought every company was like Service Champions. Service Champions was by far the best operations. Like everything was all in place. And I thought every company you went there was the same thing. The guy took me to his office. He had a nice office, but you can tell it wasn't the same as Service Champions, but it was still nice. I think they're like a $15 million company or something like that. And then I go to leave, and the guy's like, he's like, let me know when you're ready. And I said, well, you never made me an offer. And so he said, okay, how about this? I had at that point I had 2 kids. I had my daughter was probably 3 or 4, 3.5, something like that. My son was pretty young, probably 6 months old. He said, hey, go tell your family we're going to Hawaii. So he flew me out to Hawaii where the guy lived at, the owner. He flew me out to Hawaii, put me up in a presidential suite. Like, I've never seen nothing like this. I've never been to Hawaii. First class, all the way there, business class seats. So, I mean, nothing was cheap. He gave me his Range Rover. We hung out there for a week. He showed me around, met his family. And he's like, hey, I want you to run my business. At this point, I had become like, people knew me because I was the top guy. Like everybody knew I was a top sales guy, I was a top performer. I worked my ass off. So he knew if he brought me in, it was going to change his business. So he offered me a big chunk of a lot of cash, the most cash I've ever had at one time from somebody. Gave me a lot of cash. Said, here, I want you to run my business. So I went there and I left Service Champions, which was hard to do. And they were pissed because I was like the poster boy for them. Left there and I got to work at that company. I also got to see the other side of HVAC. Like, they charged a good price, but they had no customer service, didn't take care of people, didn't do things the right way. So I got to see the best company, and then I got to see another company that looked good, but on the outside, but internally they weren't very good. So I spent 9 months there, and during that 9 months, I made a lot of relationships. I got to see the inside of the business. At Service Champions, I only did sales. At this business, I was a service manager, sales manager, running sales calls. I was helping in the office, so I got to see all the inner workings of the business and how it worked. And I'm like, man, I can do this. And, I think it was August 2018, I said, fuck it, I'm starting my own business. I'd only been in the trades for, at that point, 3 years. been in the trades for 3 years. I said, fuck it, I'll do it. And so 2018, I started my first business. August 3rd, 2018.
Fisker?
Absolute Airflow.
Okay.
So Absolute Airflow is my first business here in Southern California. We grew really fast. We did 5 million our first year, 12.5 the next year, and then we did about total revenue in 4.5 years before I exited. It was like 64 million.
And you just exit and
I sold that in 2023. But during that time, I started doing sales training too. So I built a big sales training company. I grew a marketing agency. We had a marketing agency that was a $2 million a year marketing agency. And we started throwing events. And then during that time, I was partnering with other companies and helping them grow too.
how can you handle everything like that?
It was very, if I was to go back, I wouldn't have done it. It was just, I didn't realize like I was doing so many things that you can't be great at one. But I was able to handle it. Helping me grow my business faster was I would do a sales training class. I'd make $100,000 for 2 days of sales training. I'd put that money and buy more shit I'd grow my business more. I'd invest it back into my business. So that's how I really grew the business fast. Is I was able to make a bunch of quick cash from sales training, flip it into the business, and grow it. But I had a lot of spinning plates, which has also caused a lot of headaches.
How's your wife and kids?
Now it's good. I mean, me and my ex have separated, but we're on good terms. We have 3 kids. I got an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Part of my business, the reason we grew, I had my daughter on my radio ads, and that really helped us blow up our company here in Southern California. And that was, she was on my billboards and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool having the kids involved.
I've seen her. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good. I mean, now I got a very now I have a whole different life. Like, when I first sold my business, I was depressed because I went from having a business I was in every day, 7 days a week, to nothing to do. I was hanging out here on the beach in Newport, and I had no purpose. I had lost my purpose. So it took me about 1.5 years to really figure out what I want to do. And that's when we launched the Rocket Group. So I started investing in home service companies. That's when I partnered with Fisker. He was a client of mine in my coaching group and sales training group, and he came to me. He's like, "Hey, this guy wants to buy my business for 400 grand." And I said, "Fuck that! I'll partner with you. We can blow this thing up, right?" So that was in May of last year. His business was worth 400 grand. Now the business today we turned down a deal for $17 million a couple weeks ago. And we're growing that. So I partnered with him, proved everything that we did that it works in another market. And then from there, this year we said, okay, this year we're going to add more partners. So we're at 10 partners now.
How it works, like a Rocket Group, right? So how it's like, does it work as a circles between the company owners, or?
Yeah, so we have Profit Rockets, our coaching group, and then Rocket Group, we come in as equity partners. So we come in usually at 50%. We come in, bring all of our resources, our buying power, our knowledge, my team, my operations team. So we come in like full thing into the business. We help with recruiting, putting all the systems and all that stuff in place, and then we go and grow the companies. And then as the Rocket Group grows, our buying power grows. So we buy better on everything. We implement all of our same systems. Every business runs exactly the same. But we allow the owner stays on, and he still owns 50%. So he gets to be involved in the upside. So we've taken the Fisker company, like I said, we were 1.8 million. They were probably making less than 5% net. Now, 18 months later, we're a $15 million business at a 20+% net. So we scaled that company. I've now done it in 14 different markets. I've taken a small company and grew it to, over $10 million in less than 2 years.
And is this like everything is going to be for this exit strategy, or?
Our goal, we partner with the company. We have a 3-year plan. Grow it, sell it to private equity. Put all the systems and process and all that stuff in place. Like Fisker, we're going to probably look at going to the market at some point next year. We'll probably get 30-40 million for it. And so a couple years of work, $40 million doesn't suck.
Because I'm running the franchise.
Yeah.
And for this moment we have 45 locations, and many of them just mostly one-man shop, or maybe like a 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 20 guys. And what's kind of the goal should be there if they want to like exit? Like they should work on EBITDA after a couple of years of working, or?
I mean, we always focus on our EBITDA. So we as a group in total, as we took like all the companies combined, none of us are below 18% earnings. So we're making the money and growing. So we price it to where we can scale the companies and stay profitable. So we're always focused on EBITDA. We want to watch the earnings every year, but the goal is if you're going to go to market, it's called your trailing 12 months. So when a private equity comes in, obviously they're going to look in your past years because they don't want some like freak year and also this year they make a bunch of money and make nothing. They really want 2 years of quality of good earnings. They want 2 years of clean books, clean earnings. Obviously most private equity is looking for a minimum 2 million EBITDA for a good exit. If you want to get good multiples, if you're below 2 million EBITDA, you're going to get a lower multiple. It's just part of the deal. So we want to be at least that last 12 months. We want to be over $2 million in EBITDA, and that tells us, hey, it's time to sell it. It's time to go to market.
And this should be like 20, 30 million revenue, or it doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
It could be like a 10 million.
$2 million EBITDA, you should be at 10 million.
Yeah.
Okay. 10 million is at least 2 million EBITDA. The revenue doesn't matter. Private equity, obviously, they're not trying to buy a business that's 1 million with 20% EBITDA, but a $10 million business that's on a growth, it's growing the right way. Ideally, like we're looking, when we want to exit, it's usually about a $20 million shop, 4 million EBITDA. So if I can get 40, I can get a 10x on that. That's 40 million bucks, all at one time.
For 10 million revenue, or
for about 20 million revenue would be 4 million. So 20% net would be 4 million EBITDA. Sell it for 10x. So that's 40 million bucks.
All structured, everything written, all the processes.
All processes, procedures.
Everybody on W2. Everybody happy. Everybody on uniform.
Everybody's in uniform. There are no subcontractors. We got everybody. Obviously.
Van leased.
Everything is
wrapped,
built,
right?
It's built for them to they come in, they can put money into it.
Like a business card you can sell for $40 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of just our guys struggling in terms of how to get the money, because many of them just immigrants.
Yeah.
They have any credit story, as I did, because I had nothing before, and I had to build the whole credit for the company. But we never had a strategy to exit. This is why I'm like, how these people like selling the companies?
Yeah.
Who are these people? Private equities. And I had a lot of emails about private equities trying to get my financials or whatsoever. I'm like, I have no interest to sell the company. It is my desire. This is why I'm like, how did you sell? And you're saying like, you've been in beach and thinking, what the heck I am doing right now?
Yeah, so you just gotta, if you're gonna sell a business, you just have to have a plan in place. I didn't have a plan in place, and I didn't realize. I thought having a bunch of money and do whatever I want, right? But now, if we go sell these companies, we have investment things that we're doing, real estate and all these other things that we're building. Like even the Rocket Group, we have one of the companies wants to exit. He wants to invest back into Rocket Group to give us more money to grow faster, and that's what he wants. He wants to invest his money and then be able to still be involved. So you got to really figure out what you want to do. But if someone's going to cut you a check for $40 million, you say yes. That's how I look at it. And then you can go do whatever you want. You can go run another business. You can go do in any other industry. Whatever you've always wanted to do, you can go do. I'm very good at this industry. It's given a lot to me. I have a lot of connections. I've built so many relationships. Everything is easier for me.
I believe it's just like an endless opportunities industry, in my opinion. I believe it's any industry like that, but as you said, you don't like the carpenter or concrete works. I believe there is a lot of opportunities as well.
And everywhere. The thing is, you have to narrow your focus. Before I used to do all these things. Now, all I do is, I do training events. I don't really do coaching anymore. We'll do events. We'll do a 2-day event, and then from there, I'm going back to my business, right? And so I get to help these guys, help them as much as I can. I won't partner with somebody unless they've been through my training. So if they never invested in any of the training or any of that stuff, I don't want to partner with them because it's too. You got to see if they can implement it. If I give them the stuff and they can implement it, okay, now we want to work with you because we know you can actually get stuff done. Because we give you so much. When we partner with you, it's a lot. It's you're like, holy shit, I've never seen so much stuff have to get done. But that's how you make real money. That's how these things grow.
I believe it's just to see if partner, is he interested to grow?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to be interested to have him as a partner.
Yeah.
What's kind of the plans for the Rocket Group to get more partners to the group?
Yeah, grow more partners. Our goal is by next year's 20 companies doing 20 million each. So $400 million platform.
Is that possible?
Yes.
But how do you manage this?
I got a team. So I got
psychological issues of the owners or the partners, if they doesn't believe on the goal or whatsoever. Like the
We get them to believe.
you have to believe.
I'm a vision. I can get people. I can magically make people think bigger and want more. And I think that's one of my. I would say it's a superpower. Is like when people get around me, they feel like they can do more than they could do. And I think that's what we empower our partners to where it's like they don't have to make all the decisions. We know the decisions to make. They just got to be the boots on the ground. So like, hey, just go do this. Boom. The partners that like at Fiskor in Arizona. If I say something, he just does it. He doesn't question it. So like we've already built $20 million. A $20 million business, I can build any home service company in any market to $20 million in 24 months.
So you experienced on the Southern California kind of marketing, how it works. And right now you're helping to grow the businesses in different places in the United States, as I understand. Do you feel any differences?
It's easier. Everywhere outside of California is easier to run it.
Because of laws?
Well, I think obviously taxes are different. How much you got to pay people. The overall. I just think that it's easier. Like there's not as much traffic. There's not as much taxes. There's not as much regulation. All this stuff. Like Arizona doesn't have all the same regulation. Over here, for a permit, it cost me $1,500. Arizona cost me $50.
Yeah.
So it makes everything a lot easier. And then the competition here in California is way harder than the competition anywhere else. Nobody else in other states know how to market. They don't know how to run a call process. They don't know how to train. They don't know how to recruit. They don't do any of it. So we go into these markets that aren't used to people marketing the way we do. They're like, we take all the work. In Arizona, we bankrupted the largest company. Our largest competitor, we just bankrupted them. Within 14 months, 15 months of coming into the market, they just laid off 3/4 of their staff, and they said that they don't know if they're going to keep able to operate.
Is this why you mentioned the people flip you off?
No, that was service end. But in that market, we're public enemy number one. We are 3 times bigger than anybody else in the market, probably 4 times. So like they can't compete with us. We have better buying power. We have better marketing. We have better tech. We have better training. Better everything. So like, a lot of it really comes down to training and finding the right people and really giving them a right process. So like if I was to go build a franchise, like I know that my franchise would dominate because we have every single process throughout everything already built out. We've been building it for 5 years through our blueprint. Our training, our onboarding training, all the SOPs, everything's in place. We know exactly what works. We know exactly what marketing. Everything is. It's now. It's just rinse and repeat, and I can rinse and repeat it. I think I can have $1 billion platform within 3 years.
But you mentioned you're gonna make it in 3 years, 400 million.
I think we do 400 million by the end of next year. We're currently budgeted without adding any more partners, which I think we're going to add 10 more partners by the end of the year. If we stay at where we're at, we're budgeted right now for 180 million with just the people we have.
For instance, you entering to this company as a owner or as a Rocket Group, or how it works?
As a partner, yeah. So we own 50%.
As a physical person, or
as a group, our group owns 50%.
So you kind of have I see. So you have a kind of corporation.
Yeah, we have a corporation, and then underneath that, I have some officers in my organization. I have my COO, my marketing, all this stuff, and they all have a piece of the equity. Obviously, I'm the CEO. I run the whole thing, but they all have a piece of the upside. So they're grinding all day. They work harder than I have to work because they're all invested in the company selling the exit.
So what is your limit?
Well,
on the company amounts,
as far as,
or it's it's endless.
It's endless.
Yeah. So basically anybody who can watch this video, they can I like the Victor.
Yeah.
I want to talk with him about my company acquisition. I give him 50%, and I'm gonna grow my company up to $20 million, and then we're gonna make an exit strategy.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, obviously, I gotta buy the right people.
And you get your 20 million. You're gonna get his $20 million.
Yeah.
This sounds good, guys. 20 million, just a couple years, 2-3 years.
Crazy, right?
But how do you feel about the existing current economy in the United States and all changes, all the tariffs and everything else?
Economy is going to be the economy no matter what. I've been in this industry for a decade. There's always something that's going to come down the pipeline and all this shit. I've gone through COVID and recessions and all this. interest rates and this and all that. It's the same shit. People need air conditioning. They need heating.
Heating, yeah.
The one thing with working with the Rocket Group is that we can help reduce those risks because we have such a big buying power that we don't get big price increases. Like no one's going to come give me a 20%. I have locked in contracts right there. My prices aren't going to increase that much. I'm already paying probably 30% less than anybody else. So my pricing is still 2019 pricing. So I can go into a market and compete right away. So if a company's already existing, I can cut their cost 30%. And then obviously that allows us to stay at the same price but make more money.
You mentioned once you are resident of Nevada, or you living mostly here?
No, I live here in California. Like I said, I have companies all over the place. So we're in 10 different states or 9 different states. I've had businesses in 13 states. But yeah, right now, like I travel, I go out to the companies. I'll go spend time with them. If I need to go out and do some sales training in the field, I'll go out and sell. I can go sell whatever. Or if I'm working in the office. So I do some traveling, but mostly now I work here in California from home.
Do you think California is still the best place to live in the U.S.?
This is the best place in the U.S. to live. If money and taxes weren't a thing, everybody would live here, right? And politics, right? Everybody would live here. We're sitting right now, we're staring at probably, I don't know, $100 million plus in boats between all these people here. The houses are right there. Those are all $8 million houses. There's fucking 100 of them. So there's money. There's a lot of money here. Owning a home service business here is not the most ideal. Obviously, there's so many regulations, the gas prices, the taxes, the lawsuits, the weather. We're sitting outside. It's perfect weather outside. So obviously, you're not going to get as much demand. So if I go to my Colorado location, if you don't buy a freaking heater, you're going to die.
Yeah.
It's cold, right? And then in the summertime, it's hot. So ideally, we're looking for climates that have multiple seasons. California, we got sunny and 75 and sunny and 70. It's really not that big of a difference. At least right here, you can go inland, it's warmer, but it's a harder market here. The regulations are harder. Now living here is the best.
Do you have some of the guys who are running the business in Florida?
Yeah, we're in Florida as well.
What do you think about the Florida market?
I love Florida. I hate humidity.
Well, about the customers, Florida customers, compare the Californias.
South Florida sucks. South Florida, I wouldn't want to go down there now. Like
Miami?
Yeah, like Miami. No, thank you. It's just flooded with cheap. Everybody's cheap. We're in the Tampa market. Tampa's a good market. People that will actually spend a little bit more money for quality is what we're looking for.
Do you think about something like other countries, Canada?
I don't. We have Canadian clients. I have clients that I work with Profit Rocket, and we coach them. But I'm not interested in getting in another. I don't want to go to Canada, so I don't want to do a business in Canada.
Other countries like Europe, maybe.
There's a lot of people in the home service space, like the big guys, that are actually going to Australia.
Like Tom Howard. I've seen his stories last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. He went with Tommy Mello in Australia.
Yeah, Australia.
I'm like, what the heck are these guys doing over there with kangaroos?
Well, there's no competition there. Like you're taking a business model that works and you're putting it in a place with nobody to compete with, right? Like if I went to a new place that I don't have any competitors and I know what I know, that they're
like a hunter,
they're gonna get killed. They're gonna get and so they got a lot of money. They got a lot more time than I do. Tommy doesn't have kids. Tom's okay with traveling. I'm good in the U.S. There's enough money here. I don't need to go. I'm not going to another country. I barely like to go to Mexico, and that's right down the street.
What is your dream?
Make a lot of people rich. So I want to when I end this thing, I want to say I made probably 100 people deca millionaires, at least 10 million each minimum. So I want to make a lot of people rich, and I get to enjoy it. I enjoy what I do now more than ever. I get to talk to a guy that I have the guy in Alabama. We partnered with him in May. He was doing $85,000 a month. Now he's doing $800,000 a month, and he's got a couple $1 million in the bank that we made. And so it's that guy now he can do whatever he wants.
But entering to the company as a 50% shareholder, as a Rocket Group, it's do you have ability to control all the finances in the company?
We can't control it all. We don't take away operational control.
Why not a 51%?
I don't want to win bigger than they win. I found, so the reason why, companies struggle, when I say 400 million, it's hard to build a $400 million where you're the majority shareholder because the other people aren't going to work as hard because they're not going to win as much. right? So the reason I do 50 is because I want you to win as much as I win, right? And if we do that, we can grow faster. And it's just a mindset thing. I think that 51%, everybody wants to own the majority. I don't give a fuck about majority. Like I'm good at 50. You know, I have a buddy of mine, Bill Pulte. Do you know? Have you ever heard of Pulte Homes?
Nope.
They're the third largest home builder in the U.S. $16 billion a year. You know, they built a $16 billion business, became billionaires off of owning 10% of that business. They sold it off, and they make a stupid amount of money. He's my age. He's a business partner of mine. We own some companies together. He's 37 years old. He now works for Donald Trump, and he runs all of federal housing. So he runs Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, $19 trillion worth of money he runs now for the government. And, you know, he says, you know, I would rather have 10% of that 16 billion than I would.
I wish to have only 5%. That's fine.
Yeah.
Of like a $1 billion company.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, he's like, my family got rich off of 10%, you know, so everybody looks at like, I want to own equity, and the numbers don't matter. Like, now, are we aligned? We want to go do this. Let's go make money. I don't know. So I talk to a lot of private equity guys. They're like, why don't you have more ownership? And I was like, why? I said, you guys have more ownership and your businesses are failing.
But the private equity, I believe they buying all the time 100% of the company?
Yeah, so they try to get to 100%. A lot of times they'll buy 70 and then they'll give you opportunity to, you know, keep 30 or whatever that is. They want to own all of it. But the problem, when you own all of it, you take the heart of the business out. The owner's the heart. Right, so like our goal is like our model works bigger, faster, and better because the owner still has the upside. So the guy might have never got past 5 million. Like I partnered with companies that are $2 million. He would have never got past 5 million by himself. Well, now he's got a $20 million business making more money than he's ever made.
In each entrance, you have to invest to each company, I believe. Not only your time, but the money too.
No, we don't put money into them.
Just like all processes.
All processes. I would bring why would I pay you to go fucking make you rich? Like, that's how I look at it. So we bring in our processes. Most of the companies have to pay us. They have to pay me 10 grand a month. They have to pay me to partner because I'm not going to bring all my resources, my time. My time's more valuable. Any company that I touch, I already know that the likelihood of success is pretty freaking high. And by themselves, most of these guys aren't going to win.
The question, how I can be qualified to be your partner? What should my company look like?
You should have some employees, right? You should have some trucks. You should have a little, you know, I look at least like we just signed a deal right before I came over here. That's what I was doing. I was signing a new deal with a company in Washington. They just hit $1 million, their first $1 million year. They just hit it now. They'll probably end up like 1.4. But like a business over 1.5 million is kind of where we're at, where we need to be at, like to where it shows they have something going. And then from there, we come in and blow them up. But you just got to show that you're financially literate. Like you're not like just blowing money like an idiot. I prefer my partners to be sober, not drink and do drugs and shit like that. So I want to know what I'm getting every day, and I want to know that we're locked in and we're going to go focus.
Do you travel their places to see how it works?
Sometimes I have deals that I've never seen in their office.
Do you test them like you want to cook or something?
No.
Or like a drink? Do you test them like that?
You can tell right away. It's just like you just gotta know that they're gonna be smart. Like I partnered with somebody that was a partier, and we grew up a big business, but he was spending all the money in the clubs and doing stupid shit. And then now there's nothing left in the business, and then the business is gonna fail, or he's drinking and hungover and not showing up. I tell him, give me 3 years, give me 36 months of your life, and I will make you richer than you've ever been rich.
But you have to be sober and wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, they can drink a little bit. I just don't want them partying all the time. Like if they drink a glass of wine, like I'm not like gonna tell them they have to be sober, but I gotta know who I'm getting every day. You know, if you go on vacation and have a drink, I don't care.
How's your health?
Great.
Do you do the gym? I've seen on your Instagram.
I do the gym. I've been doing the gym almost every day of the week. I don't really drink soda much, maybe a little bit. So I try to stay pretty healthy. I mean, I work out a lot. We read a lot. You know, a lot of our partners, we sign books and shit like that. But like, we want everybody to get smarter. Like,
how did you decide to go to the social media? Because you were like pumping the idea to every home services owner should be present in social media.
So, you know, it's funny. I was kind of like, before Tommy Mello and all, I was the first one doing all this. So Tommy uses my old social media people, Tommy, Lance Bachman, all these guys. So I started getting big into social media in 2022, but I was spending a lot of money on it. And then, you know, I blew up really fast, and then I stopped. And then these other guys kept going, which if I would have kept going, I'd be bigger than them. So now, like, I'm actually back investing in it now. I think we've grown over, like, I don't know, a couple thousand followers in the last month just on Instagram. And so I'm trying to grow that again, starting my podcast again, all that stuff. Because I just hosted an event. We're at this event. You know, you get 50, 60 people in a room. I make one video post, I get 20,000 people.
Because I like the guy from Set Sail.
Yeah.
Set Sail. He said we've got the guy who was running the school's math classes.
Yeah.
And the kids didn't like him offline.
Yeah.
They need him like all the time online because they want to like run the speed quicker or just to pause him and like rewatch something.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's kind of the multicasting when you're trying to explain some of your ideas to the not one person or like a 50 person in one time.
Yeah.
1,000 for example.
Yeah.
And for 50 people will get your idea and maybe you just like keeping their attention all the time.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I look at like, you know, I used to throw big events, 1,000 people come to my conferences, right? And you know, you get spend all this money, all this time to get in front of 1,000 people. I can get in front of 1,000 people in 2 minutes on social media. Like, why do, you know, that's why it's like, you know, the events are for ego, right?
Yeah.
If you invest that same amount, if you would spend the same amount of money you would spend on an event, like I've lost millions of dollars on events.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that people don't realize how much money goes into pulling these things off. Time, energy, money. If I would have taken that same money and put it just all into social media, I would have made way more money.
That's right. Like, do you know Alex Harmozy?
Harmozy, yeah.
We're just doing like online stuff. That's it.
Yeah, and that guy's a fucking. He owned a gym. Who gives a shit? He hasn't done any of that. Alex Harmozy hasn't done shit. Like besides for fucking grow.
He's just like a marketing guy.
You're just buying your program, dude. Like anybody can sell a fucking program. Like you know, a lot of these guys they come up and is like, you know, they're like, oh, I'll show you how to grow your business. You would fucking shit your pants.
No idea.
You have no idea what the fuck you're
yeah.
doing, dude. So like I think, you know, I try to keep it real. You know, I think a lot of people like that. I still operate businesses. I'm still growing businesses. And I'm trying to share it on social media, and I'll give anybody that asks anything you want to know. I'll tell you everything we do. Mm-hmm. 99% of them won't do any of it, you know, and like that's right. And that's where the partnership is. I force them. I'm like, here, do this. Like, I can't make them do it, but I can bug the shit out of them until they do it. And I think that's what the difference when I partner with them is like, no, we give you a timeline. Let's get this done. Let's say it's one thing after another because in business is a revolver, right? How quick can you pull the next trigger? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we apply pressure all the time. We don't accept being slow. And the crazy thing, this is October right now. We're middle through October. Every single company we have is going to break an all-time record this month. All time. Some companies have been around for 60 years. They're going to break their all-time sales record in October with no weather. Supposed to be slow season.
Do you see a lot of guys who are like in their 60s, 70s who want to quit the company?
Yeah, and those are the ones I try to buy for cheap. You know, a lot of these guys will build businesses for 20, 30 years and they get nothing out of it because they never built a business, they built a job.
They build like a paper invoices.
But even then, it's like you have to build. There's a lifestyle business and then there's an enterprise. A lifestyle business is you and you work every once in a while. You don't work that hard. You don't have managers. You make money, right? And then there's an enterprise where you built a real system, a real business that people want to come buy. People don't buy lifestyle business. They buy business. They buy enterprises. So you got to build an enterprise.
Back to your dream to make a lot of people rich. What's the definition of rich?
Better people overall. I think I've impacted a lot of people in just changing their mindset, their habits, and what's possible. You know, we really talk about being good family people in the group, like, you know, being good for our kids, planning trips for the kids, doing stuff like that. And then obviously rich is, you know, making money. You know, obviously money is a key point, but like, okay, now I made money, what do I do with it? You know, how do I invest it? How do I do those things? So like just trying, I think the big thing with our group is we're trying to become better, everybody be better together.
But I can be better without money.
You can be, but it's a lot better with
harder.
Money. It's a lot better with money.
Like a lot of money, is this like $1 million in my bank account, or?
No, like,
or should be like assets.
Assets, and we try to be smart. You know, you don't want $1 million in your bank is stupid. You don't want to. You got to get the money moving. You know, money's. You got to move money. You can't just let it sit.
On real estate.
You know, different businesses, different
bitcoins.
You know, yeah, I mean, obviously, Bitcoin's going to be massive. So it already is massive. So I would invest a lot into that. But yeah, just trying to figure out better ways to invest their money and get passive income and like, you know, a lot of times if they have an idea, we'll invest in their ideas and things they want to do.
Who got the idea about the Rocket Profit postcards? No, not the postcards, the cards, the play cards.
That was me.
Was you?
Yeah.
It was like a freaking awesome idea. What the hell is this?
Yeah, so the flashcards. Yeah, we started doing the flashcards about 1.5 years ago.
Because we have maybe three of them in our kitchen, just
Yeah.
like we're just taking one flashcard.
Yeah,
like
practice.
okay, go ahead, give me an argument.
Yeah.
And they like it's like funny. We practicing the English at the same time we just practicing the arguments against the customer.
Yeah.
What you gonna wish to the people who watch this video?
If you're watching this video, just think bigger. You know, whatever you think is big, you know, make that goal. Try to set that goal a little bit higher. You know, and if you think you're comfortable where you're at right now, make yourself uncomfortable, because you don't grow unless you get uncomfortable. So try that new marketing thing. Hire that person. Do the things you got to do, and just push a little bit better. And, if you get 1% better every day, you're going to gain 33% over the year. So you just got to continue to get better. Continue to ask for more. Continue to ask more questions. Listen more. If you guys are an immigrant, you're in the country, just constantly be learning, right? I think immigrants have an advantage over the people that live here based on the fact that they know what hard is, and a lot of people here don't know what hard is. And I think there's a lot of soft people in this country, and you can run them the fuck over just by putting in more effort. So that'd be my thing.
All right, thank you for watching this video, guys. Hit subscribe and like button, and I'll see you in the next one, or maybe somewhere here in California.
See ya.